It's Carl here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life with Kristian Niemann from Epic Doomster's Sorcerer. Kristian, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm very fine. You know, like I said, we just had a heat wave and been swimming for the last week, you know, in our lake. But now it's cooling down, and I'm just doing sorcerer stuff right now.
Fantastic. And how have you been, I guess, holding up over the last couple of months? You know, can't ignore global pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same for everybody. You know, we're bummed that we can't go out and play and support the album. But we're healthy. We're staying in. You know, we're keeping to ourselves, doing the social distancing thing. And I mean, it could be worse. I mean, it's summer. I like being alone anyway. I mean, I'm not a big socializing guy. So I mean, I'd rather sit in my room or, you know, outside when it's good weather. So I'm not suffering. I can't say that.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess aside from the effect it's had on the band, has it had a massive effect personally?
Not really. I mean, none of us are making much money from the band. I mean, it's not like our main income or something. We all have jobs on the side. I teach guitar, and the other guys have different jobs. So that's been going on. I mean, I've been doing the teaching like this, you know, via Skype.
Oh, you've been able to do that?
Yeah, sure. So that's been working out pretty great. I mean, it's not as fun as sitting with a student one-to-one, but it works. Same with the other guys. You know, they've been working their jobs, and my wife works from home now, so it's actually, you get to see each other, you know, during the day, which is nice. So, yeah.
That's taking positives out of obviously a very negative situation.
I try to look at it positively. I'm not a big negative guy. I try to look at the bright side.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Because as well, like, you only need to scroll through your social media. You guys, you've been taking advantage of it as best as you possibly can. You're very, very busy. Is that something you enjoy?
Social media, I mean, me personally, I'm not the biggest social media presence. You know, I know other guys in the band are way better at it. But I mean, I think it's a very necessary thing nowadays. I mean, you have to be seen and tell people you're alive. And I mean, now when we release the album, it's even more important to, I mean, get it out there and get people to know that, hey, it's really available. You can get it, and we're planning on doing something in the future, you know, streaming gig or whatever, you know, just let people know we're here.
Yeah, because normally you release your album and off you go out to the world. And instead of that, you're having to do, you'd say, live streams and conversations on social media. It's not quite the same.
It isn't. I mean, I still enjoy doing it, of course. I mean, I like, the big thing for me is like interacting with people. I mean, like talking to you, for instance. I mean, it's great, you know, having this personal interaction. But I mean, the rush you get, of course, from standing on stage and playing, that's you can't beat that. For me, that's the pinnacle of being in a band.
You know, would you say it is effectively your bread and butter? You've already said, obviously, Sorcerer, like most bands, isn't your daily income. So I guess the enjoyment has to come often just from being on stage.
Yeah, that's it, definitely. I mean, I would, you know, there's the funny saying, you know, always it's like, okay, you don't get paid for playing, you know, you get paid for the other 23 hours, you know, traveling and dealing with whatever bullshit, you know. And that's true. I mean, of course, you need to make ends meet. You can't go out and play and come home and lose money. That's not possible, you know. But still, for us, we don't make huge amounts of money. No way. So it's definitely a labor of love for us.
And the first sort of stages of, I guess, lockdown the world, you were really busy with the release of Lamenting of the Innocent. Now that effectively the dust is settling a little bit, are you able to relax? Are you able to kind of focus on something else?
Yeah, for me, I'm really busy with another project right now. I've been having this project for like 10 years. You know, I've been slow finishing it, so I'm tracking a lot of guitars right now for this thing. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's more, it's heavier. It's more. I mean, if you know the side project we did a long time ago called Demonoid. it's sort of the same thing. It's like thrash, black metal, death metal, that kind of vibe with like grunt vocals and
Very
so
cool.
that type of stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. But we're still planning stuff for Sorcerer, of course. We're gonna have a meeting on Sunday. We're gonna get together and see, talk about doing the live stream thing. We've also been talking about maybe writing some new stuff. Maybe not the whole album, but maybe doing an EP, couple of songs, maybe a couple of cover songs or something like that. I'm not sure where we're going to end up, but we're going to do something for sure.
It's really interesting because we were talking to someone last night, Acid Rain, and they only released an album in the last 9 months. And because obviously being in lockdown, the expectation is, oh, well, you've not been out touring. You must be just sitting there and writing. And it's kind of like, yeah, but we just released a bloody album. How often do you want one?
Exactly. You don't want to go straight into the studio again and start writing. And I can't really do that right now. It's like, I don't want to.
Yeah, you need those non-studio periods. Otherwise, it's, I guess, break you down.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's for us. It's hard work writing. You know, I mean, some people, I guess, have fun writing, and it's such a creative thing. It's creative, but it's nerve-wracking and really difficult also, because you want to top whatever you did before, you know, and you listen back to some stuff and it's like, shit, that's really good. How am I gonna do it this time? You know, how can I top it? So you're always second guessing yourself, and it's a pain. But you know, so I need time off to play live and do other things to sort of get that going again.
Yeah, and I think for the fans as well, you would release an album, say, next year, so you're within a year of your previous one. You've not really given Lamenting the chance to really spread.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's nail on the head. Exactly.
So it has been getting rave reviews, not just from the press, but like just a general fan base. You can read your comments, be it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. Does any of that surprise you?
It doesn't. In one way, it doesn't surprise me, because all the previous two albums have also got great reviews and great comments from people, you know, and so that I was hoping it would be received this good that it has been, but you never know. I mean, some people think maybe it sounds too much similar to the last album, or it sounds too, I don't know, poppy or clean or whatever. You know, you can always think of these things that people, you know, you can make it up in your head, like, oh, this is stuff people are not going to like, and they're not going to like this stuff, and it's too clean. We have a ballad on the album, they're not going to like that. You know, you just sort of go through these insecurities, you know. But we knew it was an awesome album. We were super happy with it, so we just hoped like that it would be received as well as the last two. And we were lucky, I guess.
I wouldn't call it luck. You don't do 3 albums in a row with Rave and it be considered luck.
A certain amount of skill, maybe also, but you know.
Are you like your own worst critics? Do you find yourselves pulling apart the album bit by bit before release?
Yes, absolutely. We are super critical. I mean, we're so many people in the band who are great songwriters, and you know, in a lot of bands, maybe one guy, maybe 2 guys are like the main writers. In this band, we're like 5-6 people. Everybody can write, you know, and so it's everybody. You know, you need to present the absolute top ideas you can come up with. Otherwise, some other guy is going to have a better song, and then your song is going to be in the garbage. Yeah. You know. And then when we start building the songs, and it's always like, is this part cool? Is this part too long? Is it too short? You know, is it too slow? Whatever, you know, it's like it never ends. The self-criticism. You always second guess yourself.
How do you kind of decide when to draw a line and be like, okay, you know what, we've got a near perfect track here?
Yeah, that part is actually pretty easy. I mean, this time we actually had a set time when we were supposed to go into the studio. You know, we started writing in January, 1st of January pretty much, and then we had booked the studio for middle of July for the drum recording. So we knew, okay, that time we need to be done. So that means you have to sort of hurry up, and get shit going. But what you asked about, I think it's just because the way we write is like one guy. Maybe I write the song, like the structure, the riffs, and everything, and then Anders and Connie, singer and co-producer, they take it and add vocal melodies and lyrics and stuff to it, and then we bounce sort of back and forth, until we're both happy with the structure and the parts. This is the way the song is laid out. And then it always happens like, okay, I got this cool guitar line. And usually they, oh, that's cool. And then they say, we got this cool choir part. We add this in. And it's usually it's stuff we both agree on, But if it isn't, we just say like, I don't know, that part's got to go, that didn't help the song. So, but it's mutual respect. It's and also respect for the legacy of the band. Not trying to bring in some hip hop influence or country thing. That's a bit too much. So I think that's it.
I mean, it works. It sounds like a very united front, which is, I guess, is super important, particularly this long into Sorcerers' life.
It's, I would say, the most important thing, because without that, without that unity, then people are just going to leave and get bored, or it's going to be some bad vibes or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the most important.
Well, we go a little bit to your history. Just the last decade, as a unit, when the band reformed, does it ever cross your mind that 10 years later we'd be talking about album number 3? When we first started, it was never a part, like the question when Johnny and Anders asked me to join the band. It was just to do one festival, the Hammer of Doom in Würzburg. They asked us to put the band together. There was never talk about like starting the band again. I was off doing other stuff. I was playing with Snowy Shaw at the time with his band, I think. Yeah, his all-star band. But then after we did the second gig in Athens on Up the Hammers, and because the big thing for us was the great audience reaction to the old material. They sang the lyrics better than we knew the lyrics. It was just amazing experience. And without that, I don't think there would have been any Sorcerer at all. There would have been a lukewarm reception with people whatever. Then those 2 gigs would have been it. Yeah.
But after that second gig, we thought we should really try to make an album, the first actual album, and then see what happens. And we got great reception, and then okay, people like it. Let's do a second one. We signed to Metal Blade for a 3-album deal, and so we knew we were going to, at that point in 2014, I think it was, we knew we were going to do 3 albums. But we had, of course, you never know starting out doing the first songs, from the first album. You never know how it's going to develop and how it's going to sound. It's just a natural progression. So, but I'm happy we're here talking about it. 3 albums for sure.
Yeah, the fact that you say you could never have known how that would have panned out. Regardless, you can sign a label deal that says 3 albums, but if you implode 1 week into the first, we would never be here, and it's fantastic we are.
Yeah.
So back to Lamenting of the Innocent. That front cover, the album artwork, that is so striking. That jumps off the shelf. Who's behind that? Whose idea was that?
It's a guy. I'm gonna kill myself for not knowing. It's Serbia or Slovenia, Slovakia, one of those countries. I'm sorry. Dusan Markovic is his name.
Cool.
He's a brilliant guy. He's done a lot of covers for bands, and I think he also done book covers and tabletop game covers, all stuff. He's a busy guy. And Anders, our vocalist, found him online, found some of his work, and just fell in love with it and said, like, we gotta use this guy. And usually when someone is that excited about something in a band, then we just let him run with it.
Yeah.
Take contact and explain what you want or what we want. And then we sent Dusan the title track, the album title, and then sort of what the concept of the album was, about the witches and everything. And he came up with a sketch, which was okay, but it wasn't what it is now. And we just told them to make some changes to it. It was it was like less church and more like out in the field something. You know, it didn't feel like it captured the vibe. But then we told them, like, okay, maybe can you put it in the church and do like the evil guy, more evil and some other stuff, you know. And then he came back with a sketch of the cover, which it is now, you know. We were like, yes, go with that one. And then they painted it, you know, in the colors and everything, and we were like, holy mackerel, yeah. So
vibrant,
very talented individual.
Super. It really captures. You talked about the evil and the lines in the face that really give almost 80s horror movie villain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's a bit maybe more heavy metal in a way than our two previous album covers. You know, the first one was a bit, you know, doomy and weird. You know, the gray one with the gray castle, whatever. Fire King was pretty metal also, but this one is like almost like classic metal, more like maybe, I don't know, a classic Iron Maiden cover or something. You know, Derek Riggs, that type of drawing. You know, so yeah, we did it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it turned out fantastic, and as you said, it really kind of fits the theme that you have behind the music.
Yeah.
Talking about Doom then, right? It's sort of, in general, still seen as a bit of an underground thing, underground feel to it. Rarely music that gets radio play, basically. Yet, I don't think it's fair to sort of label Sorcerer as a Doom band per se. You've got so much more to it than that, and it makes you stand out from the pack. Is that something you guys are actively aware of, or does it just come really naturally?
I would say it's both. You know, because we did, or I said we now, but Anders and Johnny, sorry, they were in the band, you know, back in the 80s, early 90s when they did the original demos. And then you can tell, of course, they were heavily influenced by Candlemass, you know, and other bands maybe in that genre. But we've done that, you know, we did that then. So now we just bring in our own, I guess, new influences, you know, which makes this sound. And we still have respect for the old stuff, you know. We want to keep the heaviness, the grooviness, and all the, you know, that feeling. But at the same time, we want to progress and go into different directions. And I agree with you. I think we're more than Doom, you know. We're metal or heavy metal or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it's definitely also a conscious decision, like you said, to bring in these other influences and not just be captured or, you know, and we have to make another album that sounds like Nightfall or another one that sounds like, you know, Tales of Creation or whatever, you know. That's not what we want to do. You know, we love those albums, but we need to find our own voice, you know, and bringing in, I think, different influences helps us to do that and stand out, like you say.
Well, you are musicians. You are creative personalities. If you don't grow, I think that becomes more of a problem. Yeah,
I would agree. I mean, look at bands like, I don't know, I'm a huge fan of, for instance, Catatonia. You know, they've been on an amazing journey, you know. They don't sound anything like they did in the beginning. For me, you know, it's huge difference. Same with Opeth, you know. They've done stuff which is totally different from the sort of death metal past, whatever you want to call it, that they have, you know. So I appreciate that. I think bands should be able to, you know, take chances and grow in ways that makes them feel good and you know, still wants to play together and still feel inspired to play, you know.
And it's fair to say as well, ultimately it's your band. While fans are super important, if the direction and United Front says, hey, we're feeling this, and unfortunately you're going to lose a selection of your fan base who liked, I don't know, let's say they want just out and out Doom, but you guys want to play, as you say, a hip hop track. That's up to you. It's what you do. So why are we complaining?
Yeah, I know, you know, but I think it's some bands, sometimes it feels like they release albums and that maybe shouldn't have been released under that name even, you know, because it's such a different thing, you know, maybe. But again, like you say, it's the artist's choice. You do whatever you want, but sometimes it sort of becomes almost like a false sales kind of thing. Like, okay, this band, I had something in mind actually when I thought about this, but yeah, I was listening to. I've been doing this thing now in quarantine, listening to a lot of discographies, like entire discographies of bands I haven't really, I've lost touch with. I mean, I did the same thing for Iron Maiden, Dream Theater, and Queensryche. And Queensryche released an album. What's it called? Dedicated to Chaos, I think, or something. And for me, it's absolute shit. Because it's like a dance album. It's like fucking dance grooves, and it sounds nothing like Rage for Order or Mindcrime. Yeah. And that should have been a solo album for someone. Just release it under a different name, because putting Queensryche on it, it's what the fuck. Don't do it. So that's the difficult part. So you want to still try to keep it within the same genre, at least metal. It's metal, and then bring in some different influences. That's my feeling about it.
No, it makes sense. That's why side projects exist. It's for, say, yourself or someone else to have an outlet of something that doesn't fit the unit. Yeah. Where do you, where do you think Sorcerer excel? Are you guys stronger in the studio? Do you feel like you're much more of an experience on the stage?
I think, we've just done, like festivals and support tour acts. But I don't think, we don't really have a stage show or anything. But I think we're a pretty good live band. I think we haven't done really a lot of touring, like, a month-long tours. That's when you really get into the groove and really get to know each other live, And that's what we're aiming to do. I think when that happens, we will grow even more as a live band. I think now maybe we're a bit stale on stage. We don't really, maybe not, we don't project maybe as well as we could probably. But I think we're strong musically we're a strong live band. I think we sound pretty much like we do on record. But I also think we're a good studio band, because we can really pull off what we want to pull off. We can, if we have a vision of the album, the way it should sound, and the songs, we can pretty much cover that and get it out on an album. So I think we're happy in both mediums.
Yeah, I think you've got a wicked balance. Clearly as well, when you talk, you exude passion. And that was going to be a thing, whether or not this far into Sorcerer's life and not your own abilities as a writer, how passionate you still feel about music. But clearly you still do.
Yeah, man. Music is everything to me. It's, the first thing when I wake up in the morning, it's music, and the last thing is music. So I still feel as passionate about it as when I, discovered Kiss when I was like 10. For sure.
That's amazing. You're the second artist in a row who has brought up the influence of Kiss.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
What else, aside from music, what else do you kind of feel passionate about? What do you get passionate about? I can't help but notice over your shoulder, you keep blocking with your head, Alien 3, yes. Yeah. Looks amazing.
Aliens sitting over there and Alien over there. And I got these, all over. I'm a huge fan of sci-fi in general, and Alien is my favorite movie, So that's my passion, really. Movies, sci-fi and horror in particular, but really just great movies in general.
Okay.
And I collect like horror movies and sci-fi movies, and as much as we can. I go to the cinema, watch movies at home. That's really those two things, music and movies. For me, I was into sports when I was younger. I wanted to be a football player, professional football player. But then I discovered guitar, and I realized I probably had more talent playing guitar than football. But I don't really follow sports that much. I follow the World Cup, and the Euro Championships when those things are on. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty boring that way. I think my wife can tell you the same thing.
Oh, no. That's two major passions, and 2 out of 3 of what we cover on our website, the horror and the music side of things. So I'm always excited to talk to anyone who's grown up or enjoys horror.
Yeah.
Is it something in regards to horror? Is it, oh, this is a horror movie, I'll watch it, and it doesn't matter what it is? Or is there something you specifically seek out? As you already said, you're a fan of sci-fi.
With horror, it's difficult. I think if you compare horror movies to like normal movies, it's the production values are usually lower, and they're not usually as great. I mean, in terms of actual greatness, you know.
Yep.
But I watch horror movies. I mean, of course, there are exceptions, obviously. But I watch horror movies. It's like a separate thing, you know. You just want to be entertained, and that was a cool. Oh, did you see that head chopped off? You know, with awesome. But what I'm looking for, when I really want to, the feeling from a horror movie, it's like this feeling of dread, you know, and that you feel uncomfortable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what I'm after, like the goosebumps, you know, feeling like, oh shit, this is creepy, you know. That's that atmosphere, and sort of, I guess you can, again, compare to music. When I write a song, or when we write a song, that's what we want to induce, you know, not the creepiness, but the goosebumps, you know, like, oh shit, this is fucking great, you know.
Yeah.
You get those goosebumps. That's the best thing in the world, you know. Same thing with horror movies. So if I watch The Shining, for instance, or Alien, whatever, one of those great movies, it's like, oh man, this is so awesome, you know, and you get the whole cinematic thing and the great story, but you also get this other element of fear, you know. That's what I love about those movies.
And you're right, great musical example of it too. You want to be able to, be it a horror movie or a song, you want to be able to walk away, and the first thing you want to do is tell everyone you know about it.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Right. Last thing then, bit of a wide open one. Finally, what these days is making you smile?
What is making me smile?
Yeah.
In music, or
in regards to yourself and the Sorcerer world, basically.
Okay. I mean, right now it's doing stuff like this, getting to talk to people who are like the album, maybe, you know, and are like, oh fucking, you really did it again, you know. That's a huge fun part for me, you know, and getting great reviews. And I'm like I said in the beginning, I think I'm really into connecting with people, you know, getting a feel for who they are and making people happy. That's what it's all about, you know. Whether it's releasing an album and make people go, oh, that song, I mean, it means so much to me, or playing live and that was the greatest concert I've ever seen, you know, because I am that guy also, you know. Of course, like probably you have so many memories to music, specific songs, specific gigs that make you feel something, you know. That's like, oh, this is the pinnacle of my childhood, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That stuff is really awesome to me. That's really a big one. And I mean, but just playing guitar for me, just picking up the guitar and practicing. I love playing, going outside, you know, when it's sunny weather, going down to the beach, just lying on the beach like an idiot, you know, getting a bit of tan, awesome, hanging out with my kids, you know, shit like that. I'm that way, simple guy.
Your level of positivity is generally one of the most warming things. It was 10 a.m. in the UK when we started here. I've only been up an hour, but you've cheered me up.
Awesome. That's awesome, dude.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?